Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of GwEN'S DM. I am your host, Gwendolyn Mashiro. In this week's episode, I had I can't call it a sit down, but I had a chat with a friend of mine, Sizwe, and we just touched a lot on being an African and African tradition, cultures, and how we were brought up as young people. So we just had general discussions around some very interesting things, and I'd just like for you guys to just have a listen and be open minded. So just remember that the views expressed on this episode are the views of the participants and do not necessarily represent the views held by their employer. This episode is called I Am an African. Hi, Sizwe.
Hello, Gwen. How are you?
GwEN. Okay. Yeah, so basically we tried this thing out. So actually, what I want to discuss today is something that can be either seen as controversial. I don't know. It depends on how people view it. Actually, during the day, I was on Twitter and someone posted something and she said, ancestors are not demons, ancestors are not demons. So it was just like a trail. And then people repeated with Bible verses, right? So basically, to talk about is this whole thing of what can I call it? African religion, if I can call it that way, that thing.
Sure.
Like the whole tradition and everything, right? So just to start off, so now I deem myself as a Christian because
Yes.
that's how I grew up and that's how I was brought up in my family. But also we were taught to do other African things like pass and those things. And I find it very weird when people tend to demonize ancestors.
Okay, so upbringing, right? God-fearing family. We are predominantly Roman Catholic. I almost said Roman Christian. We're Roman Catholic. Majority of us at home or in my family. It all stems from my great-grandmother, who was Roman Catholic. And Catholics, I'm talking from, baptism all the way up until confirmation.
I was
And
never baptized. I don't know these confirmation things.
it's
I'm the only one in my family that never went through that process. Maybe that is why I'm this confused about life.
I don't think you're confused. I don't think you're confused. I think you're asking the right questions. You're curious,
Yeah.
and you are finding where you are most comfortable. So you go into the avenue of seeking into ancestral practices, and you also go to church. You can't live in a world where you're in a bubble. You're in your own bubble. You're self-isolated. You need to constantly let yourself out there, know what has happened before your time, and what could potentially happen also in the future, and just constantly soak up whatever it is that you're interested in. And if you don't know about something, then go learn about it, find out more about it. And if you feel, you know what, this is just not for me, then, like you said, don't go now and bash abanye abantwana or other people who are actually practicing that, because of you may not know the reasons or the underlying story for them to actually be involved in that.
Yeah. Like the pastor is forcing you to think that the African way of doing things is wrong. And where the problem is. So like you'd go to church, you'd hear pastor saying, no, people that believe in ancestors, they call it what? Ancestral spirit. And I'm like, guys, sure.
I particularly like using a term in isiZulu. We call it amatonga, right?
Oh, yeah.
And amatonga, for me, is somebody who is actually an angel. Do you understand? when
Mm-hmm.
you loosely translate the term, is an angel, and angels are there to guide you. So what better way to connect with your angels? What better way to communicate with your angels? And how do we do that? Through ukphahla. Ukphahla is that process, where we burn incense, impepo, and also there is snuff and whatever other, artifacts you believe to be important for umsamo wako, that is to be your shrine, and you gather that and you put that in a nicely, built place in your home, and you just have a conversation with your ancestors or angels. Amatonga wenu.
Somehow, I also feel like, for example, my mom passed away.
Yes.
And I kind of believe that she is with me everywhere I go. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily need his snake or whatever. I just like randomly talk to her, or like because there's a picture of her in my bedroom. And like when I wake up, I'd be like, oh, hi, morning, whatever, whatever. So that's my way also of communicating to my ancestors. If I'm going through issues and struggles, in my prayer, I
Absolutely.
pray. And also in the morning when I see her, I'll be like, yo, today is going to be a hectic day. Just be with me, walk this journey with me. So I think people tend to misunderstand these things. And
Exactly.
the other problem is that we go to church when the pastor opens the Bible or when the pastor preaches something, we don't challenge them. We take whatever it is because they are so-called men of God. And on that one, somehow I feel like the kereke tsa bazalwane these days, they tend to think that they are ke tla reng, above other churches. I know I say to people that like these days you get churches that are filled up, like in Njeki, fill up the church, fill up the dome. And
Yes.
they are filled up because you get a pastor, Bushiri pastor, whoever, who can prophesy. And I'm like, why do black people get excited about prophesying? It's not like this thing, it's new to us.
It's
If
not.
you went to like some apostola, like you said,
Exactly.
like there you get like the real ones.
Mm.
If you go towards ZCC, I think they call them a Mabon or something. These
Mm.
things have always been there in the African tradition, in our
Absolutely.
African churches. But now because Kyoko Bazalwaning, I don't know, we get excited because Papa or man of God is saying it.
Exactly. I think it's also because of it's more westernized. If somebody even goes to Isangoma and consults, it's something that they won't freely share. You can understand maybe because of it's their personal business. But if maybe we were having a conversation randomly so, and this was, one of the topics that we were discussing, I definitely would feel more than comfortable to say, hey, I actually went to see Isangoma XYZ and 123, and they said XYZ about my life, But I think because of how it's being perpetuated in society, is that this is the right way of doing things. Go to a church, speak your problems in front of everybody, and then let somebody pray over you and prophesy your life. As opposed to when you go to backyard yalana indumba ikhona, and it's done in secrecy, then it's as if it's maybe as in uyokhuluma ngofidi usizwe or asazi uyothakathabani. It's never seen as a thing which, I just want to fix my life. I just want to find out about what is going on in my life. I'm feeling that there's certain things that are not adding up, certain things not connecting. So therefore, I think that maybe if I was to introduce, somebody who's a medium and facilitate a discussion between mina namadlozi wasekhaya or amathonga wakithi, because of I don't have that ability to just communicate with them, and understand what it is that they're saying. Yes, I may go msamo waka ke tell whatever se ke tellang or skin light in pepper if lighter, but then sometimes you just need somebody to translate a few things, your dreams, certain emotions that you're going through, certain things, life events that are actually happening, so that's just my whole take on things. And yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, somewhere in Corinthians. I forgot. I don't know the Bible verses by head. It talks about the different gifts that we have and the different gifts that God has given people. And I think as people, we need to acknowledge that God has gifted us differently.
And it's not because now it's an African black person that has it, then now we are packaging it as like an evil thing. Or if the person who's got the gift is not wearing a suit, is not standing in front of a pulpit, the next thing we are thinking, well, that person is somehow doing a witchcraft. Obviously, there are people that have this gift and they use it for wrong reasons, right?
Yes, it's like also how to tsamaya o ya kerekeng o seng o tsoge o itlapile o mobila mo wa emisa taxi or tswa ka koloi uzozomakhe athi go awu yesontweni hey ngithandazise lapho, you know, we never actually put thought in what we're saying.
God answers every prayer. I can say to someone, "Kopa wilon rapedisa." I don't know what they're gonna say to God.
Exactly.
So isn't that another form of witchcraft? Because someone can pray to God for Tidi to get an accident, and God is going to pray because is going to answer, because that is someone else's prayer request.
Exactly that. Ubthakathi does not even necessarily mean that it has to start because of the back room or ke indumba yasemuva. Ithoma kopilong into e.
And just because you don't understand other people's ways of doing things, it doesn't give you the right to now put a tag on it and say it's witchcraft or say that it's demonic, just because it doesn't align to your way of doing things. But also, as Africans, Black Africans actually, we need to go back to our roots, to our foundation, to actually understand that before we became this Christian, before this Bible thing came, what was an African person doing?
Exactly.
What were they praying to and all of that? Because at the end of the day, as long as you believe in another form of higher power, because the thing that distinguishes Christians from Muslims and Jews and Hindus is Jesus.
That's it.
Because we believe in Jesus, but they believe in, I don't know, Allah, but we all believe in God. Because they all speak of God. The only thing that differentiates us is the Jesus part. That's what I think.
So yeah, that was just a discussion with my friend. There's a song by Thandiswa Mazwai that I love, which is titled Nizalwa Ngobani. And there's a line in that song which says Nizilibelu ba Nizalwa Ngobani. So, African child, just go back to your roots and understand where you come from. Understand the role of your ancestors in your life. Do not demonize the African tradition and African way of doing things. Stay safe and be blessed.